some time with me. Today we're going to be going probably about 60 minutes. We might go a little bit longer, just depending on what questions you all have. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll be able to look at all the comments in the comment section. And so you can just ask your questions there, right? So this is not a monologue where I just talk and then y'all just have to listen and take notes. If you got questions at any time, y'all feel free to just to write out your comments and we'll hop in. Right, we'll hop in. We'll be talking and answering questions. Right. So I value y'all's time. I want to make sure y'all get the most out of this webinar today. All right. So this is something that has been near and dear to me for a long time. Right. It's like it's online business, online income, and it's been amazing to see how it has not only changed my life, but changed the lives of other people, right? So let's do one more tweet right quick. Hey, y'all, hop in real quick. Hop in to the webinar. All right. So let's go and get all these things set up. Boom, there we go, right there. All right, so today, guys, we're going over the leverage and launch method. All right, this is how professionals turn their expertise into an income-producing education business. All right. Now, you already have something people need. This is something that, whether it's in my DMs, whether it's in one-on-one conversations I've had with people in real life, or when I'm talking to people on the phone, what I realize is that so many people, whether they are a lawyer or they're an accountant or they're any kind of high-level professional, they think that the only people that need what they have, their expertise, is the company they work for, right? Or the clients they currently have. And that's just not the case, y'all. Like, the skills you've had that you've used to build out your career and have success in it, other people in your industry and adjacent industries need that expertise, right? And so when you already have something people need, they're already primed to interact with you through asking questions, through saying, hey, I want to pick your brain. They want to pay you, right? Because they're interested in what you've already done, right? You've been able to have a level of success that they haven't had yet. So you already have something people need. I just want to drive that point home before we get into anything else today. All right. So the knowledge we have, our experiences, our skills, and our insights create leverage. They turn our knowledge into systems that work for you. Now, those systems become income. All right. You can build a scalable asset that creates income on repeat. All right. And that's coming from our experiences, our skills, and our insights in our industry, right? Now, here we are. Let's look at this. We got a consultant here. We got an insurance adjuster. We have a financial advisor. We have an engineer. And we have an attorney. All these people are professionals, okay? All these people have a skill that they have already studied for. When they got a degree for, they got licenses for it. And they're already being, for the most part, most of these people are getting paid well, right? Now, what we all have to realize, again, from the first slide is, we got a CPA here as well. All these people solve valuable problems, okay? The CPA solves valuable problems for their clients. The attorney solves all kinds of valuable problems for their clients, all right? The engineer, the financial advisor, the insurance adjuster, right? The consultant, all these people have specialized knowledge, right? Now, what's so interesting about that is, even though they are paid well, they're compensated well, they're only getting compensated well by one person, all right? The problem isn't the expertise. They're already good at what they do. The problem is they're paid one client at a time, all right? So if you're an attorney that works for a firm, yes, you might have different clients, but essentially your main client is the firm that pays you, right? Or an insurance adjuster might work for State Farm or Allstate. They're only getting paid by that one company, or a consultant, or a CPA, so on and so forth. I think y'all picking up what I'm putting down, all right? The problem is we only can get paid one time, all right? So 1 hour of our time has to get traded to that client, right? As a consultant, as a financial advisor, as a CPA, as an attorney, all right? But when we adjust to the mindset of earning through online income, that same hour of our time can get multiplied out to 1,000 people, 10,000 people. All right. And that's what I'm gonna be showing you all throughout this presentation, this webinar today, is the idea that yes, you're doing well, but you're doing well and you're trading either time for money or you're trading all the expertise you have to one client. Right. And so we can exponentially increase the value of our hour by servicing more people through a scalable system. Okay. Am I going too fast for anybody? Anybody any questions about this so far? Y'all, I'm thinking y'all can pick this up. Y'all understand, all right? So that goes into leverage, right? And that is kind of the crux of the conversation today, is leveraging one set of skills with a new set of skills, all right? So the set of skills you have as a professional, this was what already put food on your plate. This is what you studied for. This is what you've been, working in for years. That is that skill. Now we're going to couple that with another set of skills. It's called skill stacking. All right. So we're gonna leverage the power of the internet and creating systems on the internet, creating sales systems on the internet, marketing systems on the internet, and teaching on the internet. We're gonna leverage the skill you already have with a new skill, and it's gonna be a force multiplier. Okay. One thing that's interesting about the internet is that even in the time that I have been selling online, the trust, the confidence that people have in purchasing things online has increased significantly, right? And so, what's so fun about this is that we have new systems, we have new software, better systems. Y'all, 5-6 years ago, when I got into this, we didn't have AI. All right, because we have AI, so many things are so much cheaper now, right? We used to have to pay for virtual assistants, pay for people to write emails for us, pay for all these things that ChatGPT or whatever, or Gemini or Claude, we pay $20 a month for these things. We're gonna use all those things to leverage our skill set, our main skill set, which is one we get paid from day to day right now, with these new online skills, right? And we're gonna increase our income through that, okay? So the highest paid professionals aren't always the smartest. They're often the most leveraged. I'm gonna use myself as an example. When I got into the insurance industry, I got into the insurance industry in 2008. I got into insurance adjusting in 2015. I got in, I was making, $120,000 a year or so. That's pretty good at that age. I was 26, 27, making that kind of money. And, I was like, all right, cool. Life is all right, but I wanted more. And what I noticed was I was like, the ceiling for my industry, I'm already kind of close to it as an insurance adjuster. All right. If you go the independent route, you can make some more money, but even still, that ceiling is still around $250,000 to $350,000 a year. Great money, by the way, but I didn't want a cap on my income. So I was like, you know what? There's got to be something there. There has to be a way I can make, more money, increase my income. And I really don't want to have to learn another industry. I don't want to have to go back to undergrad or, go get a master's degree. I didn't want to have a time suck in that way. Right. And so I was like, you know what, let me start learning about this online space and how to make money online. Right. Now, keep in mind, I didn't invent all this. Okay. I learned it. I learned everything that we're going to talk about today. I learned it either through mentorship years and years ago, or I learned it through trial and error as I built my business out. Right. Now, I didn't set out to build an education business. I was going to be an insurance adjuster, right? Here I am in Florida after a hurricane on this huge roof, right? It was a roof of an apartment complex. And here's another roof I was on. And here's some of my IDs working for State Farm. I've worked all over the United States as an insurance adjuster. And so my focus was not that. My focus was to stay in the insurance industry, right? But I knew that people needed help and I could help them. All right. They start asking me questions like, how do I become an adjuster? Hey, what should I study? Hey, how do I get hired? Right. These were those kind of questions that people ask me. And then it started, it's like a drip at first. It was like, a couple people here and there, people ask me in real life. And then I make a video on Twitter. That video does like 200,000 views and I get tons of comments. I'm just it's a deluge of comments coming in. And I was like, hold on, I think I got something here. I think I have something. All right. Some click for me. I got all these questions. So from those questions, all I did was make content. All right. I would answer each question in a video, or I would make a thread about that question, and that would make content. And then what I did was, after about a month of this, getting all these questions, it started like in September 2020 when I dropped that video. For that month, I would answer those questions, and then I would put the question that these people had, I would put it into a course. All right. Because my first offer was a course. And I just compiled all these frequently asked questions and this, expertise I have and the skill. And I made my first product. All right. I made my first product, and that turned into sales. All right. This is really that simple. Like it's extremely simple. I'm not trying to add any extra steps. I got a lot of questions. I make content off of it. Out of all those questions and content, I turn into a product. And then from there, I start getting sales. This is my first product, Roadmap to Become an Independent Adjuster. It wasn't sexy or anything like that. All right. It wasn't sexy, but it was needed at that time. All right. This is what I got my first month. My first month in sales, I earned $11,574. Now let's go back real quick. This is how I was doing it. Answering questions. I make content. Now I get questions from people. I make content based on those questions. Then I tailored a product specifically to the questions they answered. So when they got my offer, all of their questions were answered. All right. I didn't try to do a brain dump of all the things I know about insurance adjusting and, auto claims and, home claims, all that kind of stuff. No, they didn't ask me about that. They asked me very specific things. So I gave them very specific answers on those things that a beginner would like to know. All right. Is the light bulb starting to go off in y'all's head to see, hey, I could do this too? All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So it's my first product. Bam, I do $11,574 my first month of sales. Okay. I was the insurance adjuster. People ask the questions. I started posting. And my first product, bam, $11,000 a month. We go on to make over $500,000 in sales on that offer. Okay. On that insurance offer. So that insurance offer was not just Roadmap. We had like 15 other courses that go along with it. This is my most successful. But I say this to highlight a point to you all, right? I go in, I make 11 grand that first month. I'm still working. I'm working my job, right? I was doing 13 grand a month at work, and I'm doing like another $11,000 on the side from the internet. And I'm not really putting in, I was doing 60 hours a week every week to get to that $13,000 a month at work. I was probably putting another, 4 to 6 hours in a week at that time to hit those numbers, right? So it's not about the intensity. It's just about being consistent in what I was doing, answering questions, putting out content, right? Now, let's keep going. All right. Now, this is the audience that I built over that time period. So I got an email list of over 6,000 people, got an average open rate of over 40%. I've done 6 figures just in email alone, just in selling via email. We don't get into that today. I'm just giving y'all some hard numbers so y'all can see these things, right? I have customers in 29 countries and territories around the world. And that's something that's so exciting to me because, like, being from Alabama, like I didn't know people wanted to know about these things, right? I didn't know people wanted to really be insurance adjusters, but I showed up every day. I answered questions every day, and I just did that for years, right? And I built out a business that way, y'all. If I can do it, y'all can do it. If you're watching this, more than likely you're a professional. Okay, so I did all this while I was working 60 hours a week, and I was not losing sleep, by the way. Okay, so that's the system I'm going to teach y'all today. Okay, and again, anybody got any questions? Feel free to comment in here. I want to make sure to make this as interactive as possible. So ask as many questions as you like. All right. Now, what do people already ask you for help with? Okay. So if you are, for example, a mortgage broker, I have people that are accountants. I have people that are financial advisors. I have people that are data engineers, startup founders, right? New grads from Yale and Stanford, right? You have something that you're very good at. And maybe people aren't asking you, but you've done something that's quite difficult in your field, right? Talking to a guy yesterday. He's a mortgage broker. I said, hey, man, so how much money you make? And he said, well, I make usually about, anywhere from $300 to $400,000 a year. All right, well, what does the average mortgage broker make? They make anywhere from $60,000 to $80,000 a year. So he's a 4x, well, not 4x, I'm sorry. He's multiple times, he's earning multiples more than the average mortgage broker. So even if people aren't asking him yet, they obviously have questions around the systems, the systems he used to earn the incomes he makes, right? Mortgage broking is being a mortgage broker is a commission-based business. It's a commission-based industry. So obviously, in this example, our mortgage broker is doing things differently than the person that's making $80,000. Would it be safe to assume that the person that's making $80,000 would like to make $300,000 to $400,000 a year? Yes. Would you think that if they knew about him, they would probably ask him questions about his sales process, his lead process, right? More than likely, yes, right? So again, if you're a person that's high achieving in your industry, even if people aren't asking questions, I'm sure they would if they knew about you. Because some of us, like myself, I was in the licensed industry, so I had to kind of pay attention to how I share certain things, right? Because I had to protect my license, right? So again, what do people already ask you for help with? What do your coworkers already ask you for help with? All right. Where do you stand out at? There's the answer to that question is your expertise. All right. Now, who already has this problem? I'm gonna use this mortgage broker as an example, y'all. The people who have the problem is the average mortgage broker, right? We're in a different economy right now. So mortgages aren't just flying off the shelves right now. People aren't just buying homes like crazy right now. Mortgage rates are high right now. So the person in this example who would be the audience of a top-notch mortgage broker would be mortgage brokers who are more average or below average and who want more for themselves, right? All right. That's your audience. So let's use a different example. So we have our expertise. We already talked about expertise. Now, who's in our audience? Our audience are people who are having pain, they're complaining about things, right? For me, when I was an insurance adjuster, when I was looking at who I wanted to sell my offer to, I saw because it was during the pandemic as well. It was so many people that were looking for work. It was so many people that did not have work. And I was like, yo, it's easy to become an independent adjuster. All you gotta do is do X, Y, and Z. All you gotta do is be 18 and be able to work in the United States and pass a couple licenses and blah, 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 blah. So I knew I had a large TAM, target total acquirable market, right? So I went after people who were looking for work, right? Are they looking for work? Do they not have a felony? Are they over the age of 18? That's a big audience, okay? So your audience might be different. Hey, I'm dealing with divorce attorneys in the Southeast who have at least 5 years experience because I have a technique for divorce attorneys because I'm a divorce attorney and I'm really good at it. I can teach them that. That's my audience. Those are the people that are struggling with that. I can teach them that. That's your audience. Okay. Again, questions, comments, concerns, y'all, as I go through all this. Anybody got any questions, comments, concerns? All right. Now, from here is where we package your expertise into one clear transformation. Let's go back real quick. We're going to go back. Questions, content, product, sales. Now, I find that the offer trips people up a lot because they're like, well, I don't know if I should make a course. You don't necessarily have to make a course. We want to do something that is simple for you to do day in and day out, right? So it might look like a mentorship, like it might look like a service, like a done for you service, right? It doesn't have to be a course. But our expertise in how we package it up is going to be guided by, more than likely, our questions and the content we put out. Okay. As we put content out, people are going to interact with it. And you will kind of get an idea of how much time you want to spend interacting with people, right? I have people, for example, they want to do done for you services. They're not making a course. There is no course for them. They're doing one-on-one services for someone. All right. For example, my accountants, I have an accountant student, right? She's not making an accounting course about spreadsheets and all that stuff. She's doing a done for you service where she holds hands with the client and walks them through their accounting problems, right? For their organization. Okay. So again, the questions, the content, and the product, we're going to find how we're going to package our offer up based on one, and obviously I can help you with that as well, but like what you're comfortable with as you answer the questions around problems that people face. And those people specifically are your audience. Okay. Let me go back. Okay. Who already has this problem. So you package your expertise into one clear transformation. Now, last but not least, this is really, obviously the most important thing is help people take the next step. I think that people have such a avoidant thought process around sales because unless you're already in a customer facing industry, sales can seem quite daunting, right? It can be a point of embarrassment for you, a point of fear for you, right? If we reframe sales as, hey, I've answered this person's question, I've made the content, that person's in my target audience, let me help them take the next step. And the next step is working with you. If we focus on the idea of I'm just going to help them take their next step, as opposed to sales, I got to close them, I got to make this much money. If we reframe that as let me help them take that next step, let me help them get out of their own way. All right. And by getting out of their own way, I mean like their objections, right? They have doubt. Many people, when it's time to change their identity, all right, to go from, in our example, we talked about a mortgage broker, to go from a mediocre or average mortgage broker to go to a high level, successful, profitable, effective mortgage broker, they are going to have some identity problems. Now, they're not going to necessarily say, hey, I have an identity problem. They're not going to say it like that, but they are going to show that through doubt. Well, this is how it looks. Well, maybe I need to think about it. Well, maybe I need to research this more. Look, let me help you out. All right, let me just help you out. Usually when people say, I want to think about it more, that means they have a question about something that I haven't answered yet. What question that you have is lingering right now? And if you just shut up and let people talk, you'll let them get out of their own way. They're going to tell you, well, the real problem is, I'm just, I want to be a better mortgage broker, but my boss is, I don't know if the system I'm working in as a mortgage broker is the best system. And I just don't know if this will work with this. And he said, well, no, if you actually just do this, and that, you're going to get this result. All right. We can overcome the objections that way, and we can help people get out of their own way. That's just one example, y'all, of objections and getting over the objections. But sometimes those doubts show up as objections. So we help people take their next step to working with you so you can take them to the level they're trying to go. Okay. Like 25 minutes in, y'all. Questions, comments, concerns about anything. Thanks for everybody hopping on in here, spending a Sunday with me, spending a few minutes with me on a Sunday. If you got questions about anything I've said so far, let me know. All right. Because I don't want to just be yapping and y'all got something y'all want to say, y'all can't say it. All right. If you just put something in the comment section on YouTube, I'll be able to see it. All right. So imagine knowing exactly what to build. What's so exciting about knowing exactly what to build is that people are going to tell you. Okay. Let me give you an example of this. Obviously, we talked about answering questions, but like, Steve, how do I answer questions when nobody knows who I am? Okay. Nobody knows I'm a mortgage broker. Nobody knows I'm an attorney. Nobody knows I'm a CPA. Nobody knows I'm a consultant. All right. Now we got to get out there. We got to start talking about it. Okay. The fun thing about the internet is that we have social media. We got Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. We got Twitter. I'm not asking you to become a content creator. Okay. I'm not asking you to have 1 million followers. You don't have to do that. Do not think you have to do that. But we do need to start telling people, hey, I can help solve your problem. Are you someone who is a attorney, a consultant, financial advisor? Are you having problems with this? Right? You're inside your industry already. Personally, specifically if you're a high achiever in your industry, the problems that you once faced when you weren't that good. The problems that people face currently that aren't so good or who want to get better. You know how to call that out. Right? I'll give you an example. As an insurance adjuster, hey, are you tired of dealing with the ups and downs of insurance adjusting? All right. This is what you should be doing. That's a call out to my audience. Okay. I'm going to begin the conversation with my audience. Hey, and I do that through educating. We talked about that at the very beginning of the webinar, right? We're gonna start by educating our audience. I made an explainer video, an 8-minute explainer video about insurance adjusting that did 200,000 views. I'm talking about I didn't put any fluff on it. I didn't have the best lighting, right? I had a regular old webcam. I did it on, and I just got technical about my industry. Okay. It's a lot of you all watching this. Y'all are very good at what you do, and you can explain what you do very well. And the only reason I know this is I talked to y'all on the phone. All right. And it's people that need to hear those things. I got guys that do HVAC for like industrial buildings and people who do fire alarm systems in industrial buildings, right? And they can explain that in depth. There's a niche of people, right? There's a niche of people that are in that industry and they need that kind of help, or they want to get into that industry, right? We're going to build things out for them based on the problems that they have, the pain points they have, and the questions that they ask us. Okay. Is it the most simple thing to do? No, but it's a skill that can be learned, right? Now, imagine knowing people already want it. All right, y'all, let me explain something to you. People only want two things. They want, when it comes to products, they want to either decrease pain or alleviate pain, or they want to increase pleasure, all right? Or they want to increase the speed in which they get pleasure, or they want to delay the amount of pain or delay the time they get pain, right? So it's pain and pleasure, all right? So if we are dealing with people who already have a pain point, you're already halfway there. But like I said earlier in another example, you already know many of the problems that people face in your line of work. Okay, you know their pain points. All right, imagine all people already want it. The guy who's making $80,000 a year as a mortgage broker wants to make $300,000 a year. He wants to increase pleasure. So all we got to, so if you're that mortgage broker, you already know what people want. So we talk to that. Hey, this is how you make $300,000 a year as a mortgage broker. You do X, Y, and Z. Want to learn more? Shoot me a DM. Like, it's that simple. You already are there. Okay. That's why I told you at the very beginning of this webinar. You already have expertise inside of you. You already have knowledge inside of you that people need. Now, imagine having a product people immediately understand. This again, we go back to our target acquirable market, our target market, right? When we look at pitching to people who are already in need, who are already in our industry, already in our sphere of influence, okay, we're going to speak directly to them. All right. I'll use insurance as an example again. All right. Just because it's as simple as one thing off the top of my head right now. But I was targeting people who needed work, who didn't want to go back to college to earn more money, or at least over the age of 18, and they needed to do X, Y, and Z. I explained those steps very simply so they immediately understood. All right. People buy from those who they know, like, and trust. So I had a product that was so simple and the guarantee was there. The guarantee was like, hey, you're going to have a roadmap to become an independent adjuster when you buy this. So it was an immediate fix for them. Hey, I don't have a job. I want to increase my income. What do I need to do? Oh, I'll have the steps needed to do this. All right, I'm buying. All right. That was the offer. So it was immediately understood. And when people understand things, they can buy quicker. Okay. Now, imagine people discovering your expertise every day. People are always looking for ways to alleviate pain and to increase pleasure. So if we get in that current by beginning to explain solutions to problems that people have, right? Because we're not going to just put up a sign and say, hey, ask me questions about consulting. No, we're going to start talking about consulting. We're going to start talking about engineering, talking about, people who need CPAs and things like that, right? And that's how they're going to discover your expertise every day, because we're going to do this every day. All right. We're not going to say, hey, buy this from me. No, we're going to come in and say, hey, come learn something from me. All right. And by doing that and being consistent in that, people will be able to discover it. Is it going to be 100 people every day? No. But through showing up day in and day out, we begin to build momentum. All right. And then that momentum compounds, right? And we begin selling an offer. Okay. Imagine your first sale coming from knowledge you already know, you already had. Like I told y'all, This is a skill stacking situation. We're going to put the skills you already have in your industry into these new skills that you're going to learn with me, all right? Put them together. Those create leverage to get your sales, all right? And so we can get out of this system of your time goes towards your employer, right? And now we can get into leveraging your time and expertise, right, into an online offer and using the internet as a force multiplier to earn more income. Okay. Now, before I get into this, before I start telling y'all what my system is about, or anything like that, questions, comments, concerns, y'all. Questions, comments, concerns. Those of y'all who are watching, my assumption is that you're an expert at something. You're good at something. All right. You make money, you do well already doing something. All right. So whatever doubts you have, let's talk about them now. Hey, Steve, I want to get going, but I don't know if I have the time. I want to get started with this. I want to start making an online income, but all right, now is the time to ask those questions. Because again, I don't want to start selling y'all on this before I answer y'all's questions. Now, if y'all don't ask anything, I'm gonna assume that you don't got any questions and y'all are down to see what's next on this leverage and launch system. Right. But this system, y'all, this is the system I've used to get customers in 29 different countries, to become a top creator on Gumroad, right? To get hundreds of people results in my through my courses, right? And a lot of y'all got the same thing in y'all. Guys, I'm not from a sexy industry, guys. Like, my industry was freaking insurance adjusting, looking at home claims. Like, if I could do that with my industry, of course you can do it with yours. You probably do even more than I did, right? My industry was so niche, like nobody knew about it. I had to explain the whole industry to people, right? People have never even heard of my industry. Like, people have heard of being a CPA. People have heard of attorneys and all the problems that they face, right? And there's way more attorneys than it is insurance adjusters, engineers as well, consultants as well, all right? Any questions before I go to the next phase? Any questions, y'all? Nothing? All right, cool. Let's get to it. So what's stopping you? And this is where we go into your identity, all right? You know you're good at what you do. What is stopping you from helping others, all right? Now, obviously, it's a rhetorical question because I'm not in front of you, but my guess, and just from what I've seen from so many people, smart people have a level of doubt sometimes that stupid people should have. All right. Not to mince words, right? A lot of smart people, they want things to be perfect before they start taking action, specifically when they're out of the box, right? Dumb people don't do that. Dumb people just be like, all right, I'm going for it, because they don't know no better, right? They don't know about weighing the pros and cons. So they just don't weigh any cons. They just go for it, all right? Don't let that be you, okay? Don't let doubt hold you back from, one, increasing your income, but two, allowing your expertise to help other people. There's somebody just like you right now that's looking for someone like you to help them solve the problems you already solved. Okay. Next, I don't know what to teach. Look, we already built that into the system. Once you and I have a conversation, we have a one-on-one conversation. Okay. I'll know what you want to teach, what you should teach, right? And then we'll learn, I'll be able to teach you the things you need to do so you can learn what to teach. All right. But again, if you are successful, if you already have a level of success in your industry, there's something there to teach. It's just you and I having a conversation. Let's pull it on out and we'll put that into a system. Right. I don't have an audience. We've already built that into the system. Y'all, you do not need 1 million followers. You don't need 40,000 followers, 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers. Okay. That is not what you need to get going. Do not think that an audience is a requirement, because here's the thing, guys. If we're talking about social media, all right, however many people follow you already are mostly your family and friends for the most part. All right. They're not going to buy from you anyway. So whether you think you have an audience or not right now is inconsequential, because you probably don't. All right. So we'll be building a system out for you that's going to start attracting the right people to you. Okay. And again, it does not mean you have to become a content creator. I'm not asking you to become, a dancing monkey on screen trying to entertain everybody. We don't have to do that. Okay. I'm not technical. Look, you don't got to be technical. All you got to do is plug and play. Just follow the system as we have built it out for you. All right. We're going to be applying what you're already good at, and we're going to apply it to the internet. That's it. All right. If you're an accountant, we're going to use some of these tools to go after what it is we want. Okay. Because again, everybody's not going to be building a course. Everybody's not going to be building a mentorship for that matter. Some of y'all are going to be building out, groups. Some of y'all are going to be building out done for you services, right? Where you do, you cold call and reaching out to clients that way. You have many different ways to do this. Okay. But it's all systematic. Steve, I don't know how to sell. That is perfectly fine. We got sales systems in place. All right. We got cold emails and cold call scripts, and we got DM funnels and sales funnels. We got all kind of funnels for you, right? So it doesn't have to be one thing or the other. All right. I don't know how to sell. Yeah, you do. You know how to solve problems. So you know how to solve problems, you're already there. Selling is just solving problems for other people. That's it. And get them out of their own way so they can get the thing they need. Okay. If you're watching this, you're more than likely you're an honorable person, you're a good person, you want to make sure people do well, right? So that's going to come off when you talk to people. People buy from those they know, like, and trust. If they know, like, and trust you, they're going to know you because you're putting out good content, right? And you're solving their problems. When people solve my problems, I like them, right? I like people when they solve my problems. Then they're going to trust you because they solve your problems. You solve their problems, right? Know, like, and trust. You're gonna make it easy for them to buy because we keep educating them to answer their questions. Okay. I'm not asking you to have. You don't have to learn how to be some used car salesman or some cold caller or some door-to-door salesman. All right. There's a technique for everything. There's a system for everything. I can teach you that. All right. And that's what's inside Leverage and Launch. All right. So if you don't know how to sell it, that's fine. We already built things around that for you. Now, hey, I don't have time. Like I told y'all earlier, selling to thousands of people. I was doing that while working 60 and 70 hours a week. Okay. The fun thing about the internet is we can build something one time and use it 1,000 times, right? Once we build out this offer for you, you don't have to keep building out the offer over and over again. You just don't have to do that. All right. We might make the content you need for that week in an hour. And we schedule it out. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to, show up and post every day. You don't have to do those things in that way. There's a million ways to do what we're trying to do. So not having time is a valid problem, but we have a solution for that. Okay. Questions? Anybody got questions about anything? All right. Now here's what's inside. So we have an expertise extraction framework. What is that about? Hey, look, that's you and I talking. We'll go through a set of questions and we're going to figure out what your skills are. Remember we talked about skill stacking, right? We're going to find out what you're good at. Okay. Because sometimes we're so inundated with what we do for a living that we don't see all the skills that are necessary to separate us from those who are not as good as we are, who have not achieved the level of success that we have. All right. So through these sets of questions and answers that you and I will go through together, we'll find out what everything that you're good at. All right. Then the product validation framework, same way. Okay. We're gonna look at what your expertise are, and let's look at the problems that people are having in your industry or the people you want to help, and let's make sure we got a problem there. All right. If we got a problem to solve, that means we have a product there. Right. We're not really making underwater basket weaving courses because there's not a whole lot of demand for underwater basket weaving courses. Right. People are not complaining about not knowing how to basket weave underwater, so we don't make those things. All right. Same concept is going to apply to our offer builder and our content system. Same thing with our sales system and traffic system, right? The main thing is going to be the weekly coaching and community, right? I do my best to show up for all of my students as much as possible, right? I tell everybody this. I've taught thousands and thousands of people. I am always available for you to help, for me to help you, right? You need to DM me, you need to call me, you need to text me. shoot me an email, whatever we need to do to make sure you get what it is you want, we're going to go for it. All right. I'm not here to brush anybody off. All right. I take pride in taking people from start to finish. All right. Okay. Like that is my main focus. Right. So we're going to have all this inside. Weekly coaching. We'll do one-on-one as needed. I find that everybody doesn't need one-on-one all the time. We can do group coaching as well. And usually that works because you get to hear other people's problems as well and say, hey, I'm having the same issue. How'd you do? Oh, okay, I did like this. Okay, great. All right. Now, you're never asked to figure this out alone. There's no part of this process as we go about building out our offer, as we go about building out our sales system, our content system, as we going out, building out these templates, so on and so forth. You don't do any of this by yourself. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you get through that. Okay. I know how difficult this thing was. I had people to help me when I was doing it, when I was getting started, right? So it's only fair that I help other people as well. Y'all, this is, I wouldn't say it's rocket science, but when you don't know what to do next, it can get frustrating, right? Now, like I told you earlier, it's not about becoming a creator. It's about building an education business around expertise you already have. We already have like 80% of what we need. All of y'all, you already got most of it. We're going to direct that in the right way and couple that with the right set of skills to then make a profitable offer for you. Okay. Questions? Anybody got questions about anything? Okay. Now, this is leverage and launch. This is what we've been talking about. We're at the 45-minute mark. I had put more time in for all of y'all to be able to ask more questions. So again, y'all, any questions y'all got, feel free to ask. I'll get into pricing real quick. I have two options available below in the description. Option 1 and option 2 is on. Go to Stripe. The total price is $2,000. You can do Klarna, you can do Affirm, you can do Afterpay or ClearPay. Also, you can split up in a payment plan if you need to, right? So if you need to split that $2,000 up into 2 payments, that's perfectly fine. If we need to do 3 payments, we can talk about that as well, all right? But what is invested, that $2,000 invested, you're going to see outsized gains as we build your offer out, all right? Again, all of you all are professionals, right? All of you all are professionals who have a level of success. So the offer we're going to make is going to put you in a situation where this is an investment in you to be able to have skills needed from now on, right? Because here's the thing, guys, internet's only going to get bigger. More people are going to get online. More people are going to continue to consume. 99% of people that are online are consumers. All they do is buy and consume content, right? You can switch yourself from a consumer to a producer, all right? Getting into the producer side of this thing and being able to sell online is going to greatly increase your income, okay? Questions, comments, concerns, y'all? Questions? Anybody have questions about anything? Like I said, we got, there's several payment plans available. You can go through Klarna, you can go through ClearPay, Afterpay, you get it taken care of. If you, hey, you know what, Steve, I wanted to ask you some more questions, but I didn't have the time to stay for the whole webinar. That's fine too. We can always talk via DM. We can get on a phone call if you want to go more in depth with this. You got some more questions that you don't want to necessarily type out. Okay. But this has been being able to couple my job's income with an online income changed my entire lifestyle, completely changed my lifestyle. That's what allowed me to live in Brazil for as long as I did, was making money on the internet, right? And so I think that these types of opportunities where it's like, hey, I can learn another set of skills that I can leverage, it's gonna be great for you, okay? Just checking in real quick. I know I had posted this on Twitter. Let me see if I got some folks on Twitter. Might be hitting me up. Might be asking some questions via Twitter. All right. So Other great thing about this, y'all, is that this webinar is recorded. So whenever you popped in, if you didn't watch all of this, that's perfectly fine. Okay. If you got questions, if you got comments, if you got concerns, Stephen, I like this, but I can't start today. Hey, Steve, I like this. I want to ask you some more questions. Feel free to shoot me a DM. Feel free to shoot me an email. All right. I'm an easy guy to talk to. I'm an easy guy to be around. All right. So I want to help you get through this and get to the next step, the next phase of this. All right. All right. So again, we have two different ways to purchase. Right. I got option one and option two. Again, it is $1,000 today and then $1,000 in 30 days, or is $2,000 up front. You can always pay via Klarna, ClearPay, Afterpay, and do a payment plan however they have it set up. I do have that available when you go into the checkout. Also, I would say that again, if you want to talk to me about it, if we need to set up another type of payment plan, hit me up. All right, I'm flexible. I'm flexible on all these kinds of things. All right, y'all. So if anybody doesn't have any questions, I'm going to end the webinar for now. You can always hit me up later. All right. I appreciate everybody for hopping in here with me, spending some time with me, learning a bit more about, this online business. And I'll talk to y'all soon. All right.